Okay, welcome back, guys, to the second episode of my 6th edition book debate. I'm calling it debate now. So I've been going through it. I got through the shooting phase and the assault phase now, but I'm going to specify this episode for the shooting. If you go to page 12 of the book, if you have the book, but if you don't, it's okay. You can listen to me. Basically, the shooting phase. There's a lot of changes in how how the game shoots at things now. Let's go back and think about the 5th edition. The 5th edition is that we shoot. There's certain weapons that when we move, there's restrictions on how we shoot it and what can be shot. And once the models are, oh yeah, and the change of line of sight and everything, it plays everything is. I can say you can say that most of the things that we knew in 5th is now different in 6th in terms of shooting. Okay, first thing that I want to point out is snap fire. It's a new rule where units, even though they moved, they're carrying a heavy type weapon, like a heavy bolter or a last cannon, they can still fire it. However, their ballistic skill is reduced to 1. So you can move and shoot, but still there's penalties on that. So snap fire. The second thing is pretty cool. The wound allocation, the hated wound allocation of 5th edition. Now it's completely changed. They revamped the system, for better, for worse, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Wound allocation versus shooting is that the closest models to the firing unit are wounded first. So if you have like a bunch of Space Marines shooting at a bunch of Tyranids, and the closest model is 10 inches, that one dies first, and then so on and so on. So you can't really play around with wound allocation anymore. You can't say that, okay, the war boss takes 1 wound and stuff like that. No. The closest model to the firing unit are wounded first. Good? Bad? I don't know. Post it in the comments. Now, moving on to the next thing is something called out of sight. Now, out of sight is basically, yeah. Out of sight is if you're firing at a group or a unit, sort of, let's go back to the Space Marines versus Tyranid example. So if you're firing at the Tyranids and maybe you can see 2 gaunts and 8 gaunts are in cover, you can only see 2. Out of sight means that if you did like 10 wounds, only 2 can be wounded. So only the units you can see can be wounded by you firing at them. Yep, that's a thing. It's called out of sight. Moving on. So instant death is the same. You know, if you get wounded by something that doubles your toughness, you're dead, no matter how many wounds you have. So that's the same. Now they implemented something that they put in Fantasy 8th edition, maybe even longer than that. It's something called Lookout Sir. Now, Lookout Sir states basically it's a rule where commanders or leaders of a unit. I'm not sure if a group leader can actually use this, but in Fantasy you can. I'm not sure here though. Lookout Sir basically said that if a commander suffers a wound from shooting, you can declare a Lookout Sir move, which basically is that a normal dude will jump out in front of the commander and say, "Look out, sir," and take the shot for him. So basically what that is you roll a d6 on a roll of 3 or more. No, on a roll of 4. So 4, 5, 6, the Lookout Sir, the guy who, the normal dude takes the wound and you can do the normal save. But on a roll of 1, 2, 3, the commander takes a wound and, you know, does his save. So that's it. Okay, cover save. Now, cover save is very interesting. In 5th edition, it was abused to the limit. Everything gave cover, everything claimed cover, and people were getting cover saves everywhere. So they made it quite easy now. So they made it basically something called, they basically made it into, if 25% of the model you're shooting at is in cover, that guy got a cover. That's it, 25%. So a quarter of a, so if you compare it to a Space Marine, I'm just going to use a Terminator here. 25% is just basically up to his knee. So, yeah. So if this guy has cover up to his knee, he gets a cover. Only 25% of the model. So it's a very tiny bit. You can do it. Oh, and a change to covers, the cover save. I'm gonna cover that in a different episode. This one is shooting phase. Going to ground is all the same, but now there's a difference. In 5th edition, once you go to ground, you can't do anything. It's all like the unit is pinned, so they can't fire, move, charge, or anything. But in this edition, once you go to ground, the units can still make snapfire shots. And going back to snapfire is they can shoot anything, but the ballistic skill is 1. So you need a 6 only to hit. But this is cool. That means you can go to Imperial Guard player, rejoice. Your units of 50 blob men can go to ground and still shoot. Yay. Intervening models don't give a +4 cover save anymore. Now it's a +5. And this is neat. This is a new system called focus fire. What focus fire is that once you shoot at a unit, but before you roll anything to hit, you can declare this, and basically what it does is that you state a cover save. So +2, +3, +4, +5, +6, or no cover save. And any wound dealt from you firing at that unit, any wound dealt of you firing at that unit, the opposing player can only allocate wounds to models that have that cover save. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to read out what I wrote. Focus fire is stated before rolling to hit. Shooter declare a cover save +2 or none. +2, +3, +4, and so on. Wounds caused can only be allocated to the models with that cover save. So what does this do is that basically it removes the toughness of a unit. So say you have 50 Imperial Guard units buckle down in a tank buckle that gives +2 cover save. However, half of the unit are not in cover. You can declare that, okay, people without a cover save are hit, or basically those guys are wounded. Then you roll to hit and roll to wound, and all wounds done there are allocated to only the people without a cover save, which is good. I like that. I like that very much. It's basically focusing fire on the people without cover. It makes sense. So yeah, so that's the changes of the shooting phase. Post in the comment if you like it or not. Sorry if I stutter a lot and everything. This is just touch and go. I read, I write, I make a video. It's no editing, nothing. So if you like it, if you don't like it, just make your voice known by liking and disliking this video, whatever you want. The next phase that I'm going to do is the assault phase, and this is a lot of things has changed. A lot of it basically made it so complicated in my point of view. I don't know, but that's another episode. For now, subscribe if you want to keep subscribe to my channel if you want to get these videos as they come up. I don't know how many videos I'll be posting per day or when I'll be posting it. I'm just going to read, write, just post it. So it's very touch and go. So thank you for watching my videos. You can watch my battle reports and everything from 5th edition in my channel.